So I've been going through my stash, and I'm going to tell you guys why this is a perfect kit to turn in to a Pro Street. Welcome back to ScaleSpeedworks. My name's Mike. Yeah, this is the perfect car to turn in to a Pro Street build. And here's why. Let's take this off and I'll show you guys. Let's start out right here with the instructions. All right. Pretty simplified. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad kit. But if you look, it's really just that. That's it. You got the front page, you got 2 middle pages, and a back page. That is it. 6 steps. That's not what makes it a good kit for a Pro Street. This is an old kit, and here's how you can tell. We're going to look at step 4. So right here, you see those 2 cylinders? Those, I can almost guarantee you, were for a screw bottom car. And that's where you took the chassis, you put the chassis on top of this, and you put screws in there, and they screwed into there. Not only in the rear, and they're a little hard to see, but they're here in front too. So 4 screws held this thing together. I can almost guarantee you that. These metal axles, almost anytime you see metal axles, you know it's going to be a little bit older kit. All right. All these customizing parts, those are pretty cool. And those are going to be extra parts for your parts bin. All in all, this is a pretty simple kit. And let's see. So this has a 2022 copyright on it. All right. But I can almost guarantee this kit is a lot older than that. Probably actually dates back to the 1960s. All right, let's see what other clues we have. I've already done some work on this because I was so excited when I pulled this out. I knew this had to be the kit that I was going to use. It comes with this customizing piece to turn this 4-seater into a pretty awesome 2-seater. Yeah, I'm excited about that. But you guys can see right here, those 2 cylinders that are hollow and they accept screws. You can also see, let me get my pointer brush, there was 2 back here. I cut those off. That was one of the first things I did. I cut those off because when I use a tubbed chassis in here with bigger wheel wells, those are going to be in the way. All right, let's see what else we get in here. We have tires. We have 8 tires. In fact, some of those have a red and white wall. That is pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Those are pretty narrow. The other ones, a little bit fatter. We're going to set those aside because we're probably not going to need those. All the chrome. A ton of chrome in here. Looks pretty good. I'm definitely going to need a dull coat or a wash or something. But that grill looks really fantastic. And these wheels, man, those look great too. Yeah, really good stuff on here. Set those aside. Here's the chassis. I've already made some marks on here. But this, right here, this chassis, a little bit of flash on there. This chassis is what is going to make this car an excellent Pro Street build. Now you see there's pins here. Those pins correspond with these cylinders here to make sure that chassis fits in nice and tight. Same things with these up front. Yeah, you guys can almost see there was probably a hole here for some screws. We have the rear end and the shocks and the springs all molded in as one unit. You guys see that? Now these holes are pretty cool because it means you could change the ride height. You could use this bottom hole to have a higher ride height, or you could bring the wheels closer to the body and use this top hole. If I turn the chassis over, you guys can see that. You could use a lower hole to have the wheels and suspension down a little bit lower. You could use the upper hole to have those wheels sit up nice and high. And we have the same thing in the front. All right. So this chassis obviously does not have any rear fender wells. Okay. So when you put the chassis in here, and it does fit, there's nothing up there. Okay, well, that's not typically a problem. But, you know, it doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. All right, so that is a great reason right there to get rid of this chassis and to use something else. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Let me show you the other thing. Here's the interior. And again, it has kind of the forks that would fit into the pins back there. But we're going to set that aside. We're going to use that. We're not going to use it right now. But I want to show you how this interior tub sits on the chassis. You'd figure there would be a way to make these fit real nice and stay in there. Except when I set this down, this interior wants to rock. It wants to go to one side or the other. There's no real spot to put this interior tub down to make it fit right. The interior goes into the body and the chassis goes on top, which, all right, not a huge deal, but I'm the kind of guy who likes cementing stuff together, and that doesn't really cut it for me. So we got to fix for that. If we're going to swap the chassis, which I'm kind of going to do here, not a complete chassis swap, but at least a partial chassis swap, you really have two options that are widely available. And those two options are the AMT 1967 Chevel Pro Street, which gives you this chassis. Nice looking chassis. All right, really nice looking chassis. And this is a great option. So one of the first things that I do when I'm looking at a chassis is I'll line it up, and I'll try and line up the center of the rear axle and the front axle. And if you look, you can see these are pretty darn similar. They're pretty similar length. So this is definitely an option, but we're not going to use the whole chassis. Usually it's just the rear end or the back half. So that's an option for sure. The only thing, and you guys can kind of see that there, is the original chassis for the T-Bird is a little bit wider than the replacement chassis. Also, the chassis for the Chevel Pro Street, the seats fit right onto the interior tub. And that's not a huge deal breaker, but this chassis definitely doesn't fit over that. Although it fits just about the same as it does on there. All right, so we got the Chevel Pro Street chassis. We're going to set that aside. We're going to take a look at the other option, which is the AMT Chevy Nova chassis. You can see I already have this marked up. I'm sure you guys have already figured out that means I'm going to use this chassis. And you're right. A little bit different setup, but the same similar concept. And this chassis, we're going to line that up. You can see it's a little bit shorter, but that's okay because I've already made marks on what I'm going to cut off. So I'm going to cut everything behind here, and then we're going to put this one up here. Yeah, that should line up pretty well. Hopefully, we're going to use everything back from here on this chassis. And this is a great chassis. The other one is fantastic as well. But this one, and this is definitely going to need some work, because you guys see that? Yeah, this interior tub definitely does not fit down on here. It's not even close. Luckily, we're getting rid of the front there. We're just going to have the back to deal with, and I really think that's going to be a lot closer to what we need, and we might be able to work this in there and make this actually fit onto there. There's not much room to carve anything out, but I do have another option, and that is to use a piece of styrene tubing and cut that down, and that way we'll have a nice smooth transition under here. That might be an option. We're going to use that. We're going to swap this out. So yeah, just because you have an older kit that has built-in, molded-in parts doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad kit. It just means that you have to think out of the box. You have to try something else. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this. And that's all I have for you today, you guys. I hope you follow along with me turning this 1966 T-Bird into a Pro Street car. This is going to be one cool adventure. All right, you guys, I really appreciate your support, and I will see you on the next one.